start now. Okay, 19. They want an absolute value that's been shifted up 5 and to the right 3. Okay, so first of all, absolute value. Well, that's easy enough because I know I have to have an absolute value in it. So let me put an X inside an absolute value. Now, how would I show moving it up 5? Where would the 5 go? Yes, on the outside. Up and down is just sort of tagged onto the end. So up 5 is just a plus 5 on the end. And then how do I show going to the right 3? Yes. Oh, you're so close. It's going to be minus. Yeah, whatever is in there with the X, you actually want the opposite of what you're doing. So right 3 is normally a plus, but we have to put it in as a minus. I know it's a little confusing. So here is my best advice to you. Once you have what you think is right, don't even look at this for a minute and just say, okay, what would this graph be? Okay, this would be an absolute value graph that's shifted to the right 3 and up 5. And then I look, yep, right 3, up 5. So I have the pieces right. Okay, because it can get very tricky and it's so easy to mix them up. How would you do 20? A vertical, a radical, and then it's being compressed by 2/5. What's that going to look like when I write it? Y equals what?
You're saying radical instead of square root.
Yes, radical and square root, same thing. So how do you compress by 2/5? Yeah, it's just going to be a 2/5 times my square root. And let me just, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, on your quiz, all you have to do is match them. So there's already you don't have to generate them. But obviously if you can generate them, you can match them. So this is good practice. Ooh, try 21 without me telling you what to do. You're going to reflect it over the x-axis and then also shift it down. And it's got to be cubic. Make sure you don't get mixed up between cube root and cubic. Okay, we got something? So, if it's cubic, right, and then a vertical shift down would be, that's perfect. Oh, sorry, can't even see it. So, cubic means it's next to the third graph. If I want to reflect it over the x-axis, I have to put that negative out in front. That makes it go all the way flipped over. And then a vertical shift down 2, I just put a -2 on the end. I just want to do one more with you. But, of course... okay, let's do 25. I actually think 25 is missing. It just says compressed by a factor of 3/4 and then translated right, but it doesn't give you a number. Let's put a 5. So on 25, if you could add the number 5 to the end of the sentence. And then go ahead and try it. Okay. So, to compress by 3/4, so you should have started with y equals 3/4 times radical, and then I have an x. Where does the translated right 5 go? Yes, it has to be under the radical. So make sure that you have made your radical long enough to cover both of them. And then, is it going to be a plus 5 or a minus 5? Minus 5. Correct, because whatever you put in there with the x, it's really the opposite of what you think it normally is, right? 5 is normally a plus, but we got to put it in as a minus. Oh, hooray! Okay, we might as well just do one of these at the bottom together, and then maybe one or two on the back. Oh, I don't know. How about, let's just do 29. So this time, they're basically just telling you where the vertex is. So it's another way of saying, hey, if my vertex is normally at 0, 0, so now it's at -3, 1. So didn't we go left 3, up 1? Same idea, right? So I just need an absolute value that's been shifted left 3, up 1. So go ahead and write what you think that's going to look like. And when you're done, you can check with me and see if we agree. Again, this is helpful if you write down what you think it is and then cover up the words and see if, just look at your equation and say, okay, this equation would have its vertex at -3, 1. Oh yeah, it does. Did you write what I wrote? How about, let's just try 30, and then we'll try the ones on the back. Quadratic at 5, 6. So 5, 6 really means you're going right 5, down 6, but it's a quadratic, so what would that look like? Did you write this? So the pieces you need, it's a quadratic, so it has to be x squared. But since I'm moving everything to the right 5, I need to put a -5 in there with the x. And then I want it to go down 6, so there should be a -6 on the outside. How'd you do? We're good? Okay. On the back, you'll see that these are just pictures of graphs. And I want you to tell me what the equation would be. So we are going to cross off 37. I mean, you could do 39, but... So let's do one of them together. Anybody have a preference? Let's do, actually I want to do two of them together. Let's do 36. So first we have to figure out who the parent function even is. Who produces a graph that has that shape? You're close. A cube root's going to go the whole way, though. It's going to have another side to it. This is a square root. But what has happened to my square root? Yeah, it's flipped upside down. Because normally, if you remember, it starts at the origin and it just goes like that. So this one's been flipped upside down. So how do you get a flip upside down? A negative out in front. Okay. And I don't think on your quiz I do any of the stretches or shrinks, but on this page there are. So it doesn't look though that there are any, because it would normally be 0, 0, 1, 1, but now I'm just at -1 because I flipped it over. 4, 2, so now I'm at 4, -2. So they didn't stretch it or shrink it at all. So that's how I know I'm done there. However, if you look at 38, who has this V-shaped graph? Absolute value. So this is going to come from an absolute value. They didn't shift it at all. They didn't pick it up and move it left, right, up, or down. But what has been done? Right, it's a more narrow V shape. So I have to figure out, I would normally be at 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, and so on. But I'm not. Look where I am. Instead of being at 1, I'm at 3. So what did they multiply by? Yes, so this equation is that. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm just trying to, you're going to be looking, seeing, did they change? Is it stretched or shrunk at all? Where did they pick it up and move it around to? Okay, I think that's good. All right, so let me stop this.